Hi, and welcome to the Market Alert for Wednesday, the 24th of February 2021. So the Babel on 7, the Fed and Yellen. So Babylon 7, it won't change anything. The forces in motion are like tides, and you can't talk the tide into reversing. So some very interesting things afoot, and in particular here, the dam is going to break. We are in the early innings of a colossal migration into commodities, which I spoke about. These have been undervalued for years, and now we're starting to see these move higher. And that includes copper as well, which is vertical in its price chart at the moment. So I hope the same for silver after we get through today's last trading day. So there we go, that's the news there. The yield has dropped off a bit, which is good to see. Let's just have a look at the last 5 days, because that's putting pressure on. So obviously Yellen and Powell said something yesterday to move this to the downside. You can see the previous close there, 1.349, and currently at 1.332, which the Fed will be relieved about, to say the least. News today, what have we got? Once more, we've got 2:30 monetary policy report hearings. Fed chair testifies, and then we've got crude oil inventories as well. So the afternoon session a bit tricky there, with the Fed speaking once more. So let's have a look, see where we are, and we'll start off with the Dow. Again, you can see that we're in this sideways move, and what's really interesting here is it's broken to the downside out of the sideways move 3 times now back towards the 20 bar moving average, and manages to be brought back before the end of the trading session back above the 5 bar moving average. Again, prices are similar to yesterday. Weakness on the overnight, and no doubt weakness on the open for the DAX, unless of course they've got some news before then that comes into the market that's not economic. But we can see from the DAX daily chart here, prices are sideways to lower, as again they're coming through all of these different fibs. I'm just going to remove a few of these here, and we're still through that 2.7 where we had the low over here, and now we've been through this twice, but we did manage to come back through this yesterday, and I'll show you later on how I bought at the bottom of this move as prices made their way back. But overnight, prices back below that support that we see to the left once more, and we're getting lower highs as well, so there's some weakness around at the moment. One thing that I forgot to do was the implied volatility, so I'll go to that in just a moment, but let's have a look in a bit more detail of what's happening overnight. Before I do that, let's just compress everything together and go back to the start of the overnight session, which we can see here. So price is opening at the daily pivot level, trading up through the previous day's close, moving up 50 points there, but overnight you can see the weakness is coming once we got through the 200 MA and then through the DP. Prices have been moving to the downside, and currently down at this BRN, which is 13,800. So let's compress this a bit further, and you can see that we're only 100 points, over 150 points at this point in time down to the low. To get anywhere near yesterday's high is 100, 200 points. So there's going to have to be some volatility to move prices around in either direction to take out the previous day's high to stop these lower highs that we're starting to see, or through the low as well, which you can see there for yesterday. So that's the picture for the German DAX overnight, and where prices could potentially trade to once the market opens at 8 a.m. But let me just add in the implied volatility charts. Okay, so the implied volatility we can see has increased from 1710 to 1738, and we're back to the average line here, and we saw in the daily chart as well of the Dow. We'll just grab that again. We're a bit away from the 20 bar moving average as far as the prices are concerned, but like I say, it doesn't take a lot to shift this, and the volatility is starting to increase there, along with the VIX as well. Still green here, but it looks like it won't be long before we could switch to orange there. Okay, that's a roundup of yesterday and, well, not yesterday's because I'm going to look at that now, but of overnight and what we could expect today and the news that was behind the moves. So let's have a look at yesterday's price action and the market. Just fast forward to the start. Prices had managed to find a bit of support right when the futures kicked off with the news, and then we see prices immediately sell off and then buy back in, attempt to move back to the upside, and immediately it's met with some potential weakness here at an 89% retracement from this high to this low, and this is where it ends, because the market then sold off to the downside sharply. The US started to move lower and prices continued to move. Now here you can see that yellow line added onto the chart, and this is where the support was in the daily chart. We might just get it to go back a bit around here, as I would have actually drawn it on. Just a matter of trying to find it. These files are so long. There we go. So I was looking for I think it was the 78%. It'll be 38.50. Oh no, it'll be between those, won't it? Because the blue line was the 50. So it's going to be there we go. Yeah. So it's the 62% retracement from the daily chart, and it's amazing. The market tested here and then sat on this for a moment or two. There we go. You can just see now. I'll just bring that back. I say it's so difficult to switch between these. Let me try something else, and this should be better. There we go. Right, so what I did was took the 62 off the chart, which we saw before, and then used the 78, which is down by the blue BRN. And there you can see prices continuing to move lower, and each time they close back below the 5-bar moving average, the prices just continued to the downside, as you can see there. So I ended up having to redraw. We got to the 78%, and then I had to redraw the fibs on the chart, because we were just sailing through them. And then eventually the market trades down to the S2. I stayed at the desk yesterday, and prices just kept closing below the 5-bar moving average and moving lower. But eventually we start to see this climatic action. I'm looking at now we've got a 50% retracement from here to here, and I start looking to see if we're going to get any sort of support, and we get this volume here, and then prices start to move around to the upside. And I'm just going to show you what I did here. They moved up, came back, stayed at 78%, and then I actually bought into the move, and then prices traded up, and I'll just show you what the net result was there. There was a nice bit of volatility yesterday, so I just stayed with the move, and you can see buying in here. I exited as prices came back through the 5-bar moving average, which was equivalent to 68 points on the trade at 50p per point there. The market then continued to move higher eventually, but I had other things to do, and traded back up towards the low, and you can see how it came off that 50% in the daily chart, and then continued, as is the case. And then as we move through the mid-morning, prices just trading sideways, sitting on the low until the afternoon session, when the Dow sold off. We got half an hour before the double act of Yellen and Powell were to speak, and you can see there the market continued to move lower, move the stop to break even. Prices closing below the 5-bar moving average, and then you see it coming back here for 56 points there. And then prices came back as soon as Yellen and Powell started to speak, and that's the way the afternoon session went, and they spoke for some time as well. So it was just the first trade in the afternoon there. Okay, that will do it for this one. If there is anything else to report, which there is actually, there's the silver market, isn't there? Because today is the expiration day. I got it wrong yesterday. It's the 24th. I was a day ahead of myself. So yesterday, silver had a bit of a hammering to the downside, as it were, but nothing like these days that we've seen in the last few weeks since the silver squeeze has started. They're struggling to move the market down as we keep seeing them bringing it back. And this happened yesterday as well. But at the moment it's sideways. And again, I'm still expecting some sort of monkey hammering of the price until the expiration's out of the way. So I'll just leave you with that one as well. But I'm still long all of the positions that I've had for nearly a year. Okay, that's it for this one. As ever, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.